Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So I've already laid out the cards in front of me. And so the only difference between this and and my normal readings is that normally I lay the cards out and then I kind of sit for a minute and I kind of develop or try to develop a story. And so this time I just laid them out and I'm just going to read them with you. Now I already see two things in this reading that I'm normally hesitant to even speak these words. I noticed that love and divine masculine. Like, I feel like whenever a thumbnail or a title says something about love or something about divine masculine, I feel like I can collectively hear everybody go, like, you know what I mean? And so even sometimes in posting videos, maybe the title said something about the divine masculine, but then somebody will say, well, they don't seem very divine to me. And so what I will say is that prior to us really walking in and accepting our divinity, we are distorted. We're like a puzzle piece that hasn't found its place. And so this is a divine masculine. This is somebody who has the potential to walk in their divinity as a divine masculine. But right now, this person is very much distorted. And so so here's the thing. So we have divine masculine, and then I have God is with you. But on top of that is the devil. Now, this is called Mrs. Robinson, but this is from the Hoodoo deck. So let me just tell you a little story about Miss Robinson. And so Miss Robinson is a root worker, okay? Now, the other women in Miss Robinson's community are church women. They're Christians. And one of the women, the leaders of the Christian group or the Christian community, is the pastor's wife. Well, the pastor's wife starts to chastise, gossip, and berate Miss Robinson for her work. Miss Robinson is a root worker, but she gets good business in the community. And so I don't know what the initial exchange was between the two women, but the pastor's wife started to gossip and speak poorly about Miss Robinson. And the impact of what she was saying about Miss Robinson caused Miss Robinson's business to start to fail. So her root working business, her spirituality business started to fail. Well, Miss Robinson says, if you take away the most important thing in my life, I will take away the most important thing in your life. Now, the pastor and the pastor's wife, they had one child. They had a son. And I think the birth around the child being born, I think even that was a struggle. And so what Miss Robinson is holding, she's holding an obituary. And you see above her head, it says Bristol's Funeral Home. And Miss Robinson is at a funeral holding an obituary, but she is quite happy. She's smiling. And so when the Christian woman spoke poorly and took away the success of her root working business, Miss Robinson went in her bag, did what she did. The son ends up passing away and transitioning. So this gives me an eye for an eye. And so one of the reasons why this masculine is stuck in this distorted energy is because he has a contract. He has a contract that he would have to break. And so literally it's divine masculine divinity, but the only way to get to the divinity is to break the contract. I want to say something. When I'm talking about a divine masculine, it doesn't necessarily have to be a male. We all have an energy inside of us. I'd say a couple months ago, I almost had this feeling inside of me like daddy's home. Like meaning, like you have the energy of mom and the energy of dad, but something inside of me just came alive where I just felt like I was my own protector. I was my own provider. I was my own defender. I won't need to rely on anybody. And like that was the first time where I got that feeling and I felt very secure and strong in it. So when I'm talking about masculinity, this could totally be a female who's attached to something toxic and needs to break away. And in order to break away, you have to stand up, you have to defend, you have to protect, you have to essentially face the devil. And so there could be a divine masculine who's distorted, who doesn't recognize that God is with him, right? And he doesn't recognize that God is with him because he's been bound to this contract. Now, the surface, the truth about this contract is that it's connected to wealth, real estate, and an investment. And so here's the thing about divorce. It's really about a business. Divorce, it's a business. It's two people two separate entities, they come together to merge. And so whatever you build and create in the time that you're married, when you separate, you got to divide that. And so one of the reasons why this divine masculine doesn't want to leave or separate or break this contract, even if it sacrifices his divinity, is he's thinking about wealth. And this is like, well, if I pull away, like, what will she do, right? So just like there's Miss Robinson, who's like, you, whatever you do to me, I'm gonna do to you. And so this is like, maybe he's been threatened, you know, maybe he already knows the type of, I'm just going to do man and woman for the sake of the reading. Maybe he understands the type of woman he's with. Maybe this is a woman that gives threats. Maybe this is a woman. Now we're going to go to the next. This is kind of a volatile reading. And I have been seeing this reading circle around like in tarot land, you know, essentially about the masculine finally moving in his divinity. And most times I often hear that it's the feminine, it's the divine feminine that kind of wakes up first. At some point she crosses paths with a distorted masculine. He feels her, he senses her in a very deep way, and it changes something inside of him. But in order to really reach her and to access her, he has to break all those contracts. But those contracts are not always connected to people and marriages. Sometimes those contracts are connected to mindsets about wealth. When we're talking about divinity, I mentioned in another reading that when we're talking about moving in your, whatever your divine calling is, there's never really a paycheck that can show you what your true worth and value is. And so a lot of this work is ambiguous. You just kind of got to see what happens, and you got to trust that God is with you. And so this is a masculine who's essentially in a contract with a Miss Robinson type of person. If you leave me, I'll take everything. If you leave me, I'll take the children. If you leave me, I'll take whatever investments, right? And so if you don't know that God is with you, you don't know that you can get everything back. Y'all, I'm in a shared space, so if you hear other people, it's just other people. If you don't know that God is with you, you will be afraid, because you're like, well, if I walk away from this, where is my supply? Where are my provisions? Will I be stable? Will I have what I need? Now, the reason why this divine masculine is hesitant to break this contract is because we have self-love. And so in order to walk away from the devil, in order to walk away from something that is really not good for you, you have to understand your worth and value, right? When I'm with you, I feel this way. When I'm not with you, I feel light. I feel free. I feel like I can think. I feel like, you know, and so this is essentially only staying in a certain situation because of the tangible assets. But the thing is that the money, the cars, the shoes, the clothes, whatever it is, whatever these investments, whatever this money is, when you're sick, that money cannot care for you. It cannot bathe you. It cannot clean you. It cannot feed you soup, right? And so all of the reasons, y'all, I got chapstick on, but it's kind of layered thick. All of the reasons that this divine masculine is staying in this relationship, honestly, in the next 15 to 25 years, in the event that he lost his health and he didn't have the same strength and mobility, the only things that he's staying for are the things that aren't going to be able to return love to him, right? And so when you don't understand what true love is, when you don't love yourself outside of your assets, you have a tendency to stay in relationships because of what they've provided you with. But those are the tangible things that we touch. Now, in addition to self-love, this is essentially the masculine feeling trapped. Now, at any point, you can walk through the gaps of these swords. You don't have to stay here. But the devil is really connected to ego, and it's connected to safety, or what your ego tells you is safe. Nobody wants to be without money. Nobody wants to be without finances. Nobody wants to guess about what their life will be like next month when their money is short, right? And so as a provider, as a masculine energy, it makes sense that you would be hesitant. It makes sense that you would take your time. Because it's not in the nature of a masculine to go and seek for somebody else to care for them, right? And so The mental prison that is contributing to him staying trapped, it's not only self-love, but we also have this private relationship. Now here comes the divine feminine. Now this reading doesn't say divine feminine, but it says Mother of Cups. Now it says Mother of Baskets in this reading, which is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is essentially a female energy who's very psychic and intuitive, and she can feel you and she can sense you. And the way she shows up is really based on what she has sensed inside of you. And so maybe this distorted masculine has crossed paths with somebody in a very private relationship, whether the woman he knows or not. Whether she knows about this relationship, it doesn't say. But there is a relationship that almost triggered the lack of self-love that he had in himself, right? Now, this private relationship has fate. Fate is the idea that, listen, you couldn't stop this. This was always going to be the moment. It was always going to come on this day. It was always going to appear in this way. And so this masculine is literally standing on the threshold, right? This is the version of life when I was trapped and attached to the devil for all of the carnal reasons. But now fate is here. So this is my chance to move in my divinity. But what is divinity? Divinity is self-love, like loving yourself enough to just listen, to sense, to hear, to obey. You know, when you understand and respect and honor your vessel, not because of the jewelry, not because of the makeup, not because of the hair. Like when you just honor your vessel because it breathes for you, it moves for you, your blood circulates, like you don't have to tell it to do anything, and it keeps you alive every single day. But then we slave for things that don't have heartbeats, like shoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like the shoes and all of those symbols that we put on our vessel, it's really about the validation that the world is going to give us. And so this masculine is like, okay, if I walk away from everything that the world approved and I leave all this behind, well, then who am I? This is when you are required to love yourself. This is when you have to learn who you are, when all of the things that were always going to change finally change. But this is a hard situation. I think it's easier when somebody walks away from you because you're like, okay, fine, thank God she left, right? But in this situation, this is a contract that this masculine has to break. And in order to be married to the devil energy, you had to already possess all of that inside of you in order to manifest that type of partner, right? And so when you recognize that that partner is no longer a fit for you, it's because something inside of you has started to change. And so this is the moment of fate. Now, the next step, okay, so we've got divinity, right? On top of divinity, we've got the number 9. So in numerology, the number 9 is about completions, it's about endings, it's about accomplishment. And so this is the idea that in order to go forward, you got to go back, meaning there's something that you did not break. There's something that you did not separate from. God is with you even when you're attached to the devil energy. But in order to get what God has for you, you cannot bring that energy forward. And so this is like, do you love yourself enough to separate from the things that are making you sick? To separate from the things that are toxic, to separate from the things that have pseudo value. They're not even real. Like, do you love yourself to walk with me, right? And trust that I will provide. And so this is like, listen, if you want to walk in this divinity, you've got to end something. You've got to complete something. You know, you've got to make this transition, but you cannot make this transition without the proper understanding. And you can't fake understanding. You can't trick the Most High, right? You can't do it. Now, we have Daughter of Sticks. So this is essentially like the Page of Wands, or I think the Knight of Wands. But this is essentially like somebody who is going full speed in this direction, and then they recognize, oh my God, that's the wrong way. I got to turn around. Now, when you turn around, you don't necessarily have to stay there, but you do need to turn around to make a course correction. So in order to go forward, somebody literally has to totally turn around and honestly sever a tie. And the reason why they have not severed this tie is because they're thinking about their pockets. They're thinking about their finances, which is a real thought. Like, it is real, it is responsible to consider those things. But when you are attached to somebody at the detriment of your soul, when you have no peace, when you don't even feel safe, Like, that's a whole nother situation. Putting yourself in a situation that really isn't giving you what you need in a holistic, soulful way, like it's taking more from you. It's taking more from you than it is giving to you, right? And so somebody has to essentially accept their divinity, and the way you accept your divinity is to turn around, break this contract. Now we have the energy of police and compromise. Now, this gives me the idea of like, this is almost like, well, if you leave me, this is essentially two people who may not have gotten their wealth and their investments with integrity, right? And so not only do you lose the money, but if you walk away from me, I'm going to tell how we got this money. Y'all, this is a real devil. That is fucked up. And so this is like, not only do I lose my money, but if as soon as I step on my divine path, as soon as I complete it, the cops are going to show up, right? And so this is literally somebody who's in a compromise. They're pulled from two directions. Yo, but these are threats, but these are not threats that the Most High can't shut down. So one of the things I love is when people attempt to be bigger than God in my life. Like, you're never going to make me, I'm only afraid of God. I'm only afraid of God. And that is, and the fear, it is really admiration. It is reverence. It is not like the earthly fear, but it's almost like, why would I disappoint something so great? Why would I disappoint something so, why would I, right? Like, I was created. And so to not honor my creation, like, there's nobody on this world, like, there's just nobody that compares. And so there's no threat. There's nothing that can keep me in a lesser state. And so obviously it takes time to get there. I wasn't always that way. There was a lot of things that I was scared of, which is, you know, there was a lot of things that I was scared of and I was willing to hold on to. And so this is somebody who's on the threshold of moving in their divinity. Maybe they have a feeling that their past will come back to haunt them because they've got this Miss Robinson, this devilish type of energy, an eye for an eye. And so next, we have the energy of storms, right? Nobody wants to be on the boat when the ocean is rocking and moving in this way. And so it doesn't get easier. You break a contract with the devil, but in order to break the contract with the devil, you have to know God is with you. Well, then you move in your divinity, and now you have this looming thought of like the police. Well, what if she's going to tell? What if I'm exposed? What if they know what I've done? What if they know how I got my money? So now you're compromised. Well, I don't want to end it because if I end it, this, right? Yo, but this is how the devil plays with your mind. This is how the devil literally plays with your mind. All of those are chains, and you literally have to break every chain. Any thought that keeps you stuck is a chain. And when you break it, that is you stepping into your power. And so, listen, moving into the divinity, it doesn't get easier. No, because you're still going to get in another storm. And the next storm is the storm of, this is our 10th house, our outer world. So this is career, fame, reputation, you know, profession, public. So listen, if I leave this woman, not only do I lose everything I've gained, but I also lose my reputation because she's going to turn me into police. She's going to tell everything that I've done, every immoral thing that I've done, anything that was unethical. She is, y'all, this is an awful person. This is an awful person, right? And so not only do you destroy me financially, but then you destroy me publicly. So my friends, my family, those people that respected me in the community, they start to lose. They no longer see the value in me, right? And so this is somebody who is concerned about their entire outer world, their status, their public status, the way the world sees them just being destroyed, right? Everything that I have achieved is going to be lost. But that is, listen, that is the fine print. When you link up with devils and you do devilish shit, there's always the fine print. You are never able to just break ties and walk away. You've always got to lose something. And in the event you gain something the wrong way, you can count that that's going to be the first thing that gets taken away from you. Now we have total drama, action. And so this is the energy of the masculine. But listen, either you are going to leave. If fate is here, you can't avoid this moment, right? Either you are going to leave or you will be pushed. I think it's much safer. It's much safer and it's much more comfortable if you walk away without being forced to walk away. Now, we have Two of Cups and apology. Now here comes the other energy. So this is where I'm getting, there was a private relationship that may not have been so private. This relationship was a fated relationship. If he leaves the devil, if he breaks the contract with the devil and moves in his divinity, in this masculine's mind, he really has no future. He has nothing to walk into. But this is somebody who has not walked with God knowingly. Somebody who has not knowingly and consciously walked with God in obedience, right? In knowledge, in guidance, in trust, in faith, in hope. This is a person who has never used any of those tools or assets. And so they're only thinking about everything that worked for me in my old life, I'm about to lose. So what the heck am I walking towards? What am I moving? You know, now this Two of Cups relationship with apology on the top, this is giving me that he's leaving the devil and he's possibly walking into something that is more aligned with his divine path, more aligned with his mission. But as soon as he approaches this next person, he's going to have to apologize. So he feels guilty. He's going to confess something. He's asking for forgiveness. And so this is one woman who's like, oh, I know when you leave me, you're going to her. But don't think you're going to her without her knowing, essentially. And so this is the drama. This is the drama. This is the storm. Right? But I feel like this was always the plan. Let's say that there were always two people who were destined to be together, and the people that they were connected to knew that they shared some type of soul level, that some type of soul level contract. And so the people around you, they kind of manipulate schemes and scenarios in order to keep you bound to them. But the things that you're doing are kind of unethical. So like when you move into the next relationship, like these are those sour secrets that you don't want anybody to know. But this person from your past is definitely saying, listen, I will put you on blast, right? Now, this is literally, it says twisting, right? And so this is the twists and turns in the journey of life. Yo, this cannot be avoided. Life does this. It does this. We can't stop it. We can't stop it. And if you have done something you weren't supposed to do, well, then you got to account for that. You got to be accountable, right? And so if somebody threatens you, you got to be like, all right, fuck it. Tell. I'll deal with the consequences. I'll deal with it. Like that is how you move and own your divinity. One of the things on this channel that I know I have to do is to be transparent, not because it's comfortable, but if you can hear me speak about the things that most people don't say, if you can hear me do it in a way that's like really not so bad, I feel like it kind of grooms you to see like, I guess it's not so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that hard. But again, I'm not scared of anybody hearing what I say. I'm not afraid of your opinion. I'm not afraid of your feedback, whether you receive me or don't. I'm not really attempting to please you. I'm attempting to assist and guide you in the way that I'm called to do. And so I can't be afraid of how you receive me and serve God at the same time. It's impossible to do both. And so me being transparent, it almost keeps me accountable. That's my way of making, those are like checkpoints, transparency checkpoints. And so there are sometimes things that are inside of me that I know I'm supposed to say. Maybe I'll say them and they're not connected to the reading. Sometimes the reading will pull it out of me. And every time I feel the pull, I know I have to say it. Not for me, I've lived it, I get it. But I almost have to say it so that somebody can hear how it is said. You can hear the compassion that I have for myself, even if I wasn't the best version of myself for myself, right? So the thing that the divine masculine is not understanding about his divinity, it says this one. It says the momentum of your life will lead you into something different than most humans, right? So when you walk away from this devil, you're not walking. Right now, the masculine can only think about humans, what human life is, what do humans value, what does society say worth is. Like, they can only think about what they have been programmed to believe about humanity. But if you have a divine calling, if you have something that God put inside of you, then there's nothing in the world around you that can reflect it back to you. And so this is somebody that doesn't understand the gravity of their calling. They don't understand that if you take this step, momentum is going to build. And when this builds, it is taking you to a place that most people cannot go. Now, this, we have dreams, 7 of baskets, investigating, and strategy. And so the reason why the masculine is compromised is because they're trying to come up with a plan. Like, listen, being in your mind, sometimes trying to come up with plans for something that you've never experienced is almost delusional, because faith is required. Like, you almost have to surrender, right? And so to halfway surrender, but to still try to control, that is delusion. So you either have to go in or not move at all. And so this is somebody who's trying to strategize, they're investigating, right? And they're trying to make a choice. 7 of Cups is about making a choice. Now in this deck, you see a spiritual bath. And so this is saying that, listen, you're making a choice with a dirty mind. Like, your mind is full of residue. Like, the quality of your choice is really only going to reflect the quality of your mind. And so you can think, you can plan, you can strategize, you can predict, but you are moving in a realm that you have no, like, there's nothing that you can hold on to make sense of this next space, right? Now we have the energy of dreams. So inside of this masculine, they have dreams. Now dreams, we have dreams when we are asleep. We have dreams when we are waking. So this can be either one. Right now, this masculine can be getting divine dreams, meaning the Most High is communicating to him while he is asleep. Those are like those nudges. Those are those sensations, those images, those flashes, those visuals that we get, and they almost come from nowhere. But when you're having the dream, it is so real. You can feel it, you can touch it, you can, like, it is so real. And the reason why the sensations are so deep is because if you live it and experience it in the dream state, it allows you to know that it can be that real in the physical, right? And so this masculine is dealing with dreams, and these dreams are revealing to him, listen, you were called to do something greater. The momentum of your life is going to take you to places that most humans don't go. That is what is being communicated in the dreams. Now, are you going to be selfish and only think about your finances, only think about the tangible things? Or are you going to complete that, end it, and give in to the calling, give in to the dream? And so this is somebody who's still trying to control the uncontrollable. Still trying to control the uncontrollable. Now, the last section of this reading, it says take action, right? So somebody is being called to take action. Now, when you take action, it is still going to be a storm. The waters are still choppy because you've got this situation over here that you may have to apologize for, right? And so this is almost like somebody jumping, what do they say, from the pot to the frying pan kind of thing. I feel like that's the energy that the masculine is feeling. Like, I'm literally jumping from the pot to the frying pan. Like, is this really going to be any better for me? But this is a divine move. This is a divine move. This is not a matrix move. This is a divine move. Divine moves hit different. And the outcomes of the divine move, like what you get after you make the move, you can't imagine it. And I bet you can't imagine it because it's going to reshape your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul. It's like you will be made brand new, but from the inside, right? And so we often want to look for the safety in the world before we make the move. No. Not with divinity. You got to just leap. And it is in the leap that you demonstrate faith. You demonstrate hope. Right? Now we have the Ace of Wands. So this is about somebody knowing that they need to take action. And listen, the Ace of Wands, it comes out with the Two of Cups. So I don't know if this masculine is literally being called into a new connection. And they're dragging their feet because they don't want to lose what they've gained. They don't want to lose their reputation. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to lose what they worked for, what they gained. And especially if the things that they gained were not moral, that's even more scary, because there are consequences, right? Not only do you lose it, but then you got to pay for how you got it. Okay. And so this is somebody that has to take action. But this Ace of Wands, whenever we get the ace of anything, these come out of the sky. And so this is like, listen, if you leave Miss Robinson and you break that devilish contract, the Most High is literally going to give you a brand new spark, a brand new passion, brand new energy. Like you're going to get like a oomph, something inside of you. And then whatever is put inside of you when you make this leap, it is that energy where you will use it to create the world or the life, or you'll come up with the vision to make the money, to get the investments. But when you get these investments, you can sleep well, because you got them the right way. You got them with the Most High in mind, right? Now we have game over and illusion. So this person is thinking like, oh my God, if I do this, this is game over. Like this is the worst, but again, this is somebody using their distorted mind, and they're not considering that they haven't even walked into listen, when you move in your divinity, like it's almost like the path just unfolds for you at the right moment, right? Like it just unfolds. There's no ETA attached to divinity. There's no, like, you never know when something, you never get an estimate. You don't know when, you don't know. That is where the trust, the faith, and the hope, you don't know, but you know. Right? You don't know when, but you just know. And so that is what somebody is having, but they are just, they are really thinking that, listen, if I apologize, right? It's going to be total drama and game over. So if I do all of this to walk into whatever this Two of Cups is that the Most High is giving me, right? If I do all of this to walk into the Two of Cups that the Most High is giving me, like this is somebody that literally feels like they are going from the pot to the frying pan. But again, this is moving from the matrix into divinity. This is about building a relationship, but this is probably about building a relationship that is genuinely a relationship. This is not this is not two people who are only, oh, okay. I thought it cut off for a minute. Sorry. This is not about two people who are married, but really they're business partners. Y'all, growing up, I remember saying this to one of my parental figures, that just watching them interact as a married couple, it was like watching business partners. There was no kissing, no intimacy, no pet talk. There was nothing that I saw that reflected love and romance and passion. Nothing. Y'all, I mean nothing. And I remember saying and describing, like, y'all are like business partners. Like, you don't, and what I didn't know is that I was revealing something. I was revealing that something wasn't hidden to me about that relationship, right? And so some marriages are really like contracts. These are two people that come together, and they only come together because they want to make money. And it's easier to come together with somebody who likes to make money. And if y'all don't mind doing dirt to get money, right? If you don't mind blood money, then like this is the perfect person to be married to, because you get to have the front. You get to have the front of the marriage and the home and the kids. But really, y'all are just two devils. Y'all are two devils who only care about the validation that society is going to give you. And you don't love yourself. And the only way you feel love is when the world pays you attention. And so you're like, I need this house, so the world pays me attention. We need these clothes, so the world pays us attention. We need to take this trip, so the world pays us attention. We need to have this phone, this car, right? Everything that they do is so the world pays them attention, because they don't have that self-love. And so if you've been getting fed, right? If you've been getting your cup filled because of all of the tangible assets, I can imagine that walking away and letting all that stuff go, you know? It's hard, but and that doesn't always feel like self-love, but it absolutely is self-love, right? When the world rejects you and you are at peace, that's self-love. When the world stops validating you, stops telling you your worth, stops liking, stops subscribing, when they stop responding, but you are still in love with your life, you've won. You've won. And so this is somebody that has to build a relationship, but they have to build it from the divine aspect, right? So lastly, this is how I know, right? And so this is trust, and then the Queen of Cups, or the Mother of Baskets. And though this is essentially like, listen, you have crossed paths with a connection that is faded. This connection, when you are in your divinity, is going to take you to a place that you couldn't imagine. It is going to align with your dreams, either the dreams that the Most High is putting in you while you're asleep, or the dreams that you have carried within your soul since you were a little child. Like, all of those dreams can come true, but they can't come true when you're attached to the devil. They can't. They cannot come true when you're attached to the devil. And so somebody is essentially, they're in their life, but they are at a twist. They are about to make a twist, and they have to initiate. They have to get around that corner. And to get around that corner is to be like, bye ego, bye world, bye society, bye money, bye clothes, right? Like, you got to say bye to all of that. Do you love yourself enough to say bye to that? Like, that's what the Most High is asking. Now we have running away. And so somebody is imagining like, if I trust this Mother of Baskets, this Queen of Cups, this faded connection that the Most High is literally giving me in the form of an Ace of Wands, if I trust this, what if they just run away, right? What if they run away? But then we have the energy. So for the Adinkra symbols that I have, I don't write the Ghanaian name, because I would spend like 10 minutes trying to pronounce it. And so this is an Adinkra symbol that connects to support for good causes. It says, when you climb a tree. Y'all know, as little kids, we used to climb trees. When we used to climb trees, every tree was not worth climbing because it didn't support you. It didn't hold you. Maybe you can only, so there are certain trees that you can climb. And so this message is saying, listen, this is the support you need. You are going to have to climb, but this is a tree that's gonna hold you. It's gonna support you. You're going to be able to grip. Nothing's gonna bend. Nothing's gonna snap. Like, this leap of faith is like climbing a good tree, right? This is a support for a good cause. Like, you are going to have the support you need because this is a good cause, right? In this masculine's mind, they're like, as soon as I follow through with this idea, they're going to run away. And Spirit is like, no, they're not going to run away. You have to trust the Mother of Baskets. Lastly, so the guides, here's guides, right? So this masculine is not just thinking of all of this on his own. Like, this is somebody who's essentially being gently guided. So they are being guided, and they're being guided to move into the energy of 3. So in numerology, 3s are like the social butterflies, right? This deals with typically being okay with expressing yourself, right? So this is somebody who's being guided to expand, guided to express, right? This is somebody who's needing to advance. This is somebody who, if you stay in that same spot, you will never change. You'll never grow. This is an opportunity to birth a new version of you, and you don't have to do it alone. You have support for a good cause, right? But this is like, you need to be playful. You need to be childlike. You need to return to a version of yourself that could laugh and smile. Those relationships where, like, you don't even know if it's safe to be happy. Because sometimes maybe your partner is happy, but then they'll switch up on you, and you'll be like, well, why are you mad now? Right? This is somebody who's like literally going to be able to have fun and be childlike, and not be tense and uptight or afraid of when the devil is going to be the devil again, when the devil is going to change their mask. Now, next we have envy and daughter. We have envy and Daughter of Baskets. So Daughter of Baskets is kind of like the page of cups or the Knight of Cups. But this just talks about the spirit of an inner child, just like a sweet spirit, right? You are being guided to like pay attention. Now, I don't know if this masculine is being guided to pay attention to the spirit of the person that they are being asked to trust, the person that is going to support them in this good cause of self-love and breaking contracts with the devil. But this is essentially saying like, listen, you are being guided to walk in a different energy, an energy that's not so serious, an energy that's not so uptight. Like, return to your state of innocence and joy when you could just be fun loving and free, and you could create and you could joke and you could just exist without judgment, right? Can you imagine that, existing without judgment? To be contracted to the devil and only worried about your money, every day is about judgment. Every move you make is about judgment, because you don't want to be poorly judged. So you have to have a bank account with a certain amount of money. You have to have a certain purse. You have to have a certain, like, it's all about how am I going to be judged? Y'all, that is miserable to live that way. That is miserable. It's like you can't rest because the world is always changing. And the world that you have tied yourself to is the world of tangible assets, which are always changing. Always changing. Now, the envy kind of could confuse me. And so what I get from the envy is the mother of baskets, who this masculine is supposed to trust as they take this leap of faith into their divinity. I think he almost envies the fact that she can run away. Like, he envies the fact that there is a freedom in her. There is something inside of her that can't be held captive, that can't be bound. And so this is somebody that I think prefers toxic contracts, because at least they'll always be there. Even if the quality of the connection is shit, at least somebody will be there. And so the envy, I think this envy is about the spirit. The spirit of this person is so free and so fun-loving and so playful that, like, what if they decide to go play somewhere else? And so I feel like the envy here, it's not a bad thing, but I feel like the masculine is like, remember, envy. It's not about what somebody can do for you. It's like when people want what you have. And so that is the envy. I don't take it as negative, like it's positive, but envy ain't good. Envy is never going to be positive, right? But there's something, this masculine is still distorted and they're still toxic. So we can imagine that they are going to have to, they've got residue that they have to purge, right? We get that. But the envy, I think that is a toxic trait. It's a toxic emotion, because they haven't really gotten to the other side, right? And so once they take the step, I think the envy will disappear, because they recognize that the very thing that you envy in her is the thing that you've had in you. And so she has it because she was supposed to show you that it existed in you. Not like, look what I have, you don't have it. Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's like, well, I'm showing you what's in me because I want to reveal to you it's in you, but I can't show you everything unless you're willing to leave the devil behind, right? So it's a toxic thought, the envy, but nothing in this reading says that the envy will lead to an action. No, it says just trust, right? And so you can replace the envy. You don't have to envy what she has. You can trust that she is going to support you in developing and finding that in you also. All right, y'all. So that was the reading. That was my first face-to-face. I know you're going to let me know what you think about it. I'm probably going to record another one. And this one will be, I don't know. I'll just record another one. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow too. I love y'all. Guys, if you see my mugs, I started attaching thumbnails to the mugs. And I tried to look at the most popular videos. But if there is a video that really touched you, or a video that you really vibed with and you felt like it was an activation, if there was a video that activated you but I don't necessarily have it on the mug, you can tell me which video it is, and I will put it on the mug, right? So I just started with, I think, about 11. But if there are some mugs or some images that you would like to see that I don't have, I can totally put them on there. Look out for Valentine's Day readings. I'm going to do 2 rounds of donation readings, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Valentine's Day, but you know how when I do the donation readings, I normally have about 4 or 5 readings that you can choose from. This time it's only love, and the only choice you can give me is this about past love, is this about present love, or is this about future love? So the readings are only about love. You will only choose past, present, or future. That is it. Okay, so if you're in a connection and you want to know something, or you just want to do like a strength test to see spiritually if there are any messages or insights or guidance, then that would be great. If there's a past connection that you're curious about, that you're still connected to, that's that. If you're not in a connection and you know that there is something coming, or you want to know what's coming, then that would be for the future. All right, talked about the mugs, talked about the donation readings. Membership. So thank you for the feedback. Tarot and numerology was always going to be the membership that I was going to do. So I've completed that already. And then in terms of like Tennille Talks teaching littles, and then tech basics, it's just because I've crossed paths with people who maybe want assistance with this whole technology thing, right? We're all different ages, we have all different exposure levels, but I really believe that like YouTube is our Bible. It is our modern day Bible. Everybody needs a page, everybody needs a chapter, and even if people don't read your page and read your chapter today, listen, they're going to be reading it. And so I just think you owe it to yourself to have a page. And if I can help you create a page, if I can get you strong enough to put content, like, you know, so the tech basics, it's about anybody that may struggle with a different technology. It changes very fast, right? So it's about helping you with the technology, but it's also about letting you know, like, you need a page. Some people got 3, 4, 5, me, right? Many pages, and each page is different. They're not all mimicking each other. But there are different aspects of me that I just love, and maybe other people love them too, right? Those pages have not grown in the way that this one has, but maybe in the future it will. But I still believe that I was allowed to have that many pages, and you should definitely have at least one, okay? And so text basics, it's about getting you out there, getting your page established. And then you feeling safe and confident and comfortable to build your chapters, to build your scriptures, to build your sermons in our modern day Bible called YouTube. So that's membership. Teaching littles. There was I got an email. There was this a subscriber who has a 10-year-old daughter who needs help in math. And so I would almost act as a guide, maybe do little videos that they could, you know, whatever, we'll figure out how it works. So that's where the ideas came from. So if you responded to the poll, thank you, I appreciate you. And if you are going to sign up in the memberships, I also appreciate you for that. Another thing, y'all, the next thing I'm going to, nope, I can't say it, told me not to. Okay. Alrighty. I love y'all. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.